Hello, hello, hello. Well, it is hot in the T dot, so I am filming with the fan on. So you'll be hearing some buzzing in the background. I apologize in advance, but that's how it's got to be, or I will be sweating like a goat because I don't do pig. So, speaking of goats, I will be talking about animals today and the empath attraction to animals. It's also babies, children, but I am going to deal with animals. As empaths, because we are spiritual beings, animals are attracted to us. And you may not be a person who likes animals. I don't, generally speaking, like animals, but animals like me. They really, really like me. Dogs, cats. I especially don't like cats. And yeah, these creatures find their way to liking me. So while I was living in Tobago, I already knew that I liked animals, especially farm animals. And the town, the village I was living in, Tobago was all hills. So I would climb the hill and people would have their goats and sheep tethered in places that they probably were not supposed to have their sheep and goats tethered. And as I was going up the hill, the animals would talk to me. People would look at me like, what is going on with this woman? And the people would just pass ahead of me. If they were walking up the hill, they would pass, and the sheep and the goat nothing would happen. But as soon as I passed, they would be like, "Hey, how you doing?" And there was a walkway that was built in the village where I was living, right outside the house that I was living. And I would walk along this walkway, and people again would tether their goats and animals. We probably weren't supposed to, but the animals would talk to me as I passed, and I would say, "Hello, how you doing?" and things like that. And there were a couple of times when I wasn't there for a period of time, and then I would come back and I would walk. And I remember this one sheep. She was like, "Hey," I was like, "Hi, how you doing?" And she was like, "Bah, bah, bah." And then she made some noise, and a little critter came and stood beside her. And she was like, basically telling me, "Look what I got here. You see my little creature? I had a baby." And I thought, "Oh, how amazing." And we talked for a little while, and then I went about my business. There was this one man who had bought a couple of goats, and there were three. He would put two together and one by itself. This one he would put by itself, it didn't matter how many times this goat was tethered. It would come towards me and yank its neck so that to me it looked painful, but this goat did this every single day. And this man is like, "What is wrong with this goat? Why it can't get hit into his thick skull that the tether is going to pull him back?" He says this is very, very rare that a goat is so untrained. Like it usually takes a week or two, but this goat was months. I would pass by and the goat would be like, "Yo!" And then he would charge towards me as if he could literally reach me, even if I was at the road. But this is the kind of thing that I was used to. So I got to Africa and I never really liked bigger animals like cows. But when I got to Africa, I was actually kind of afraid of cows when I was in Tobago. They were trying to get me to not be afraid, and it wasn't working. I got to Africa, and for some reason, the fear of cows just disappeared. People would be passing with their cows, and I had absolutely no problem with it. Well, one day I thought, I wonder if this would happen with cows as well. So I was walking by and I saw a cow tethered and I saw the owner not far. And I looked at the cow. The cow looked at me and I was like, "How you doing?" And the cow was like, "I'm fine. How are you?" And I'm like, "I'm good. Are you enjoying that grass?" And the cow was like, mm-hmm. And it started walking towards me and I was like, "Oh no." The owner, who was talking to someone at the time, like I said, looked at the cow and then looked at me and was like, the cow literally looked like it was ready to follow me. And the man looked at me and I just started walking really quickly because it had never happened before because I'd never tried doing it with a cow. But we have a spiritual connection that animals recognize. And you can use it to help, number one, protect you, and you can use it when animals are causing disruptions in a neighborhood, for instance. I was visiting someone who had a permaculture location, and therefore she had a couple of cats, but in the neighborhood there were a lot of dogs that barked incessantly at night. I was staying for a couple of days, and I said to her, I'm not a lover of cats. Her cats would come and sit by me, and she's like, this is very odd because these are outside cats, although they came in at night. She says they never stayed around. They wouldn't even go to the daughter, and the daughter wanted to hold her, wanted to hold any of the cats. And the cats were like, let me go, just leave me alone. These cats would come and sit at my feet. She said, this is the most bizarre thing. These cats have never done this before. And I was like, she's like, you have a good spirit. I thought, okay. And she was a spiritual person as well, so she could understand. But the night, the barking of the dogs, I was like, no, 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 no. So when I woke up in the morning, I was like, you have a dog problem at night? They like to bark. And she says, yes, it's been a problem for a while. I was like, okay. The next night, I was like, as the dog started barking, I started speaking to the dogs. I said, you do not need to bark so loudly. There is no reason for you to bark. You need to stop the noise. The dogs toned down their barking. So the next day I said to her, I said, how was it last night with the dogs? She's like, sometime through the night, they just kind of, they weren't as loud. She says, it's very odd. And the next night, I was like, dogs, you need to stop barking. It's not necessary. Go to sleep. And again, the dogs quietened down. And I was like, good. I didn't say anything the next day. And she's like, the dogs were really quiet again last night. I was like, You have the power to speak to animals. I was staying somewhere else, and they had a dog and a cat. The dog and the cat were outdoor animals. The dog just kind of found its way to the house, and was a problem because they also had, it was a she, and males would come around. Well, the dogs and the cats just went, right? The cat's name was Meow. Very, 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 very thoughtful name. And Meow would come and sit at my foot when I was eating supper on the balcony. And the dog would come and sit on the other side of Meow. I would leave my door open a crack, and Meow would come outside my door and just meow, 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 meow. And people would be like, you can't go inside of there. And they would take the cat and throw it out the door. And I'd be like, don't be so wicked to the cat. I'm not a lover of cats, but still. This cat just was enthralled by me. I'm going to stick some pictures of me sitting with the cat and the dog. Animals are drawn to me, and I don't even try. It's a spiritual connection, so I won't try to figure out why. People were just like appalled at the fact that this dog and this cat was just sitting beside me with, they'd never ever done it to the owner, to the wife, to the children, never done it. You have a good spirit with you as an empath. So you can command dogs, cats, animals because they connect with you on a spiritual level. In Babylon, where I am right now, I do not look at the dogs and cats as I'm passing by, because people would be walking on the other side of the street and dogs and cats will want to come, well, not cats, but dogs would want to come walk with, no, I can't be having that sort of thing happening here. But you have a good spirit working with you. You generally are a light person. So the Most High gave you that trait, gave you that tendency. Use it when you're around dogs and cats and animals. You might be an animal lover. Like I said, I am not, but animals love me. So use that to bring good to the world, right? Use that trait that the Most High has given you for good. These were a little bit of funny stories. This is Sambuka. I thank you all for the new subscribers, for those who are returning, who watch my videos and watch it all the way to the end. If you are an animal lover and have had some sort of animal story, I'm an animal person and I've had some animal stories, and maybe you want to share the animal story in the comments. Do so, and we would love to read the comments that you have. Until next time, sprinkle your deliciousness throughout your day and be infectious to all who come your way. Just color. Bye-bye.